So before we get started, a couple of housekeeping. If you haven't had a chance to check out these lovely ladies' bios, you could do that through the QRL code, which we know is here. For those that may not have the ability, you scan it and you can look up the code. And then from there, you can see their bios. No question is a silly question. All questions are welcomed. And we're here to really learn about what is manufacturing. We didn't know was there manufacturing in New Jersey? I thought it went somewhere else. These are the things that we've all been pondering, clearly. And amazing women that are in manufacturing that we have in our lovely state of New Jersey. So I'm going to do a quick, I guess we're going to go down the row. Let's start with Qing. When we're going to introduce yourself, the company you're with, and your position, and then we're going to dive right in.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Qing Guo. I'm the General Counsel at Case Medical, Inc., which is a medical sterilization. We manufacture medical sterilization containers and trays for the healthcare industry globally. We make 95% of our products right in Bloomfield, New Jersey. We're vertically integrated. Who here knows what vertically integrated means?
Not me.
So vertically integrated means that, we do everything from design to production and then to shipment. So our logo is from design to destination. I've been at my company for almost 2 years now, doing legal, but also getting into the business portions of it. I'm traveling to Europe, to Medica, which is the largest healthcare trade show, B2B, in the world in November. There's so many opportunities in manufacturing. We're very excited that you're all here today to hear about it, to learn about it, to get involved, and possibly, get a job at one of our companies.
Hello all. I just want to start out first by saying, my name is Dawn Fitch. My company is Puka Pure and Simple. And if you see my hair going like this, I am not having a Beyonce moment. It is my hot flash fan. I feel very safe with the women in here. Like, a flash can destroy this whole panel. So I just want you to know, if this happens, you know what's going on. Yeah, we know. So my name is Dawn Fitch. My company is called Puka Pure and Simple. It is a 23-year-old natural skincare company, yet 23 years. I started in my kitchen because of an illness. I got sick and was later diagnosed with MS. So it has been a 23-year journey. The products are sold online. We have some bigger wholesale accounts, and we're in Whole Foods. So it has been a journey of being, I like to call myself like an unplanned manufacturer. Because I really started out wanting to create great products and just be healthier for myself. And somebody was like, you're a manufacturer. I'm like, I guess I am. So that's the angle that I sort of will come in to just talk about how we fall into these roles and what I've received and how I've grown in that and how we can do that for other women and other girls.
Yay. Hi, everybody. I'm Jackie Luciano. I'm the Vice President at Zago Manufacturing Company. Based in Newark, New Jersey. The company's 30 years old. I've had the pleasure of being with the company for the past 16 years. We manufacture sustainable sealing solutions for the military and aerospace industries, and in industries that are, being talked about more often nowadays, offshore wind, electric vehicles. We manufacture a sealing fastener that protects equipment from anything getting out of that equipment into the environment or anything damaging the equipment to make sure it continues to function. So I'm just happy to be here and to learn from everybody that so far today learned so much already that I can bring back to my company and to help the women in our company move forward.
Excellent. And I'll tell you a little bit about NJBP. So New Jersey Manufacturing Extension Program, we're a 501c3 organization. We're part of a national network. Every state has an MEP, including Puerto Rico. The national network is NIST, National Institute of Standards of Technology. One of our national board members is here today as well. I'd like to shout her out. And the sponsor of our panel, Zago Manufacturing. So the focus is, who we are, what we do, and who we serve. We serve manufacturers in the state of New Jersey. We do training, we have a team of engineers, we have a team of people who go out into the field to connect with manufacturers and see how they are, their health as a manufacturer, their financial health, their employees, training, upskilling, and then also helping them be successful in the state of New Jersey. I do the advocacy component of it. So I'm in Trenton. I'm also working with congressional leaders. We're our federal team member. And then from there, we work to make sure that folks in government, in other organizations, learn about what manufacturers do and how we are such a great impact in New Jersey and New Jersey's economy. So real quickly, show of hands. Do you know how many manufacturers are in the state of New Jersey? 100? How many people think 100? Raise your hand if you think it's 100. How about 500? Okay, 500 here. I feel like I'm... All right, 1,000. Give me 1,000 right there. Okay, we've got it. 1,000. 2,000. 0. Anybody want to say 0? You say higher? Throw me a number. 50,000. Okay, well, we're not there yet. We have 11,000 manufacturers in the state of New Jersey, right? 11,000, yes. And the average manufacturer is 34 employees. Zago Manufacturing is an example of that, based in Newark. So for those that didn't know, now you know. And we want to make sure that you are educated. This is part of what we want to do here, educate you as members of the community to know, well, who's in my neighborhood making some really cool things? New Jersey is a supply chain state. So we make something or make a part of something and then pass it along to the supply chain to somebody else that might need that part and then go from there. We have the ports here. We have the airport. We're right in the airport area. All of that is part of our network. In transportation logistics, it's even more. And we fall right into that mix. So manufacturing is alive and well in New Jersey. Don't believe what they tell you. It's here and it's amazing. So I want to throw a couple of other numbers at you. How many employees in the state of New Jersey? Well, 300 and, I say about, oh, this is kind of interesting. For manufacturers in particular, 324,000 people are employed in manufacturing. But that, then when you break it down, in addition, for life sciences, you got 84,000 people in life sciences. Pharma, we had one manufacturer here in New Jersey that helped make the test kits for COVID. That's a big deal. And then STEM technology, 183,000 employees in STEM. And that's a whole other aspect of manufacturing. And then, like I said, transportation logistics, it is a part of the system. 415,000 people are employed in transportation, logistics, and distribution. And that goes right, like I said, to manufacturing. So, why are we here today? We're here to talk about the women in the industry and why in not just New Jersey, but in the USA, only 30% of employees that are women are in manufacturing out of 15.8 million people. That is a lot lower than the regular workforce, which is like 47-48% of the workforce is women. So that means we got some work to do. But that doesn't mean that we don't have amazing women that we are recognizing and making sure that they have a platform to speak to their experiences, expertise, and their knowledge in the industry. You'll see here, I have a few of the magazines, learn a little bit more about who we are, what we do, and the industry itself. That's part of what we do here at NJBP. And then what I'm making reference to is our industry report, which we actually print, produce, and pull the data together so legislators, partners, folks all over the state learn about the industry. 10 years ago, we would talk to legislators and they would say, oh, we didn't think there was any manufacturers. They all left. They went somewhere else. No, they're here. And that's why we do this as a way to make sure that people learn that it's an amazing career to be in. You can be a manufacturer and start something up yourself like Dawn, or you could be part of the greater, of making something pretty cool. I get to walk around in these facilities, so it's pretty awesome. And I come from like the political background. So I digress. So let's dive in a little bit about how amazing these women are today. And thank you for being here again. So they gave you a little snapshot of what company they're with, what they do. But I want to hear a little bit about the journey, ladies. Tell me, how did you get into manufacturing, and why are you still here?
Is that for me?
Well, Dawn, I'm looking right at you.
Look, I'm getting my fan, so this might be a long one. No. Actually, I'm a graphic artist by trade. I went to school for design. I worked in the music industry, and I loved my life. And I was getting off the subway. I worked at Sony Music in Manhattan. And, I always play theme music in my head. So I'm in the city, and I went numb from the waist down. And it was this scariest experience ever. They called the ambulance, and that started maybe a 5-year journey of, okay, what is wrong? I went to so many doctors, and they kept saying, oh, you're healthy, go home. I'm like, but I don't feel good. So I just started deciding I have to take my health into my own hands, and I just started changing my diet, and I took out white flour, white sugar. If you saw me eat something out there, everybody has a cheat day, okay? So, I just tried to eat a lot healthier, and I really got into aromatherapy, the essential oils and things like that. So I just started making things. I had no background in that. Literally, like I said, I was in the design industry, and I started making things, and I started to feel a little better. So then I started to make them for my family and annoy them. Like, ooh, you're gonna put that on? You should use lavender. They were so sick of me, but I felt better, and I wanted them to feel better. So it was a real health journey, and I did not plan to start a business. I was just making this for myself to feel better. And I always say, like, I don't cook. So if you come to my house, you're never gonna eat, but you'll be moisturized. I had products everywhere, in my stove, in my kitchen, in my cabinets. My friends were like, you have so much stuff. Let's take this to a festival. See if you can sell it. And my mom called us her pucalitas when we were little. We do not know what that means, but we know it was a term of endearment. And I couldn't fit that on the label. So I said, make it neat. I cut it. I called it puka. And I just put labels on everything. So we went out to this festival, and I just felt it was such imposter syndrome, because I was like, I made this on my stove. Somebody's going to find out. And, they smelled it, and we sold out. And that was literally okay, we just started a business. And then we instantly became manufacturers, which I never put a title to it, because it was just me making stuff. And then as I grew, I'm like, you're manufacturing. So it really was that is a journey in itself, from becoming to the point where I actually believed, like, you're a manufacturer. So it's been 23 years. I started when I was 2.
Jackie, you want to go next?
Sure. So I came from a background, I was a paralegal for a law firm and their office manager. I worked there for 10 years, and then I decided I wanted to start a family. So I left that position to have my son, and after about 8 months of being home, I was ready to get back to work. But I wasn't ready to go back full time. So I wanted to go back part time, because I still wanted to be home. So I applied for a position with a company in Newark. I'm from Newark, born and raised in Newark, did all my education in Newark, Rutgers, Science High School, for anybody who knows anything about Newark. So I applied for this position as a part-time bookkeeper. And I started working for the company, and immediately started to just ask a lot of questions and try to learn every process of the company. I never knew anything about manufacturing or what it was, but I started to learn just about every position in the company, and found this to be such a welcoming environment. Whenever I go visit another manufacturer, they're always so welcoming. It's always like a family environment, and supportive. I've had a really good mentor. Our CEO is here. She's been my mentor throughout the whole career. I've been with them 16 years now. I just love being on the factory floor. I love working with our people, and now mentoring the ones that are coming behind me. We have a lot of we have a young company. We're about 34 people now, but a lot of them are young. So we get to help them along their journey, and we do a lot to help them with education. So we support them in those ways, and try to mentor them to get to the next level of their life.
That's great. Okay.
How many lawyers are in this room? So my journey to manufacturing, it started, I am a lawyer. I was at a big law, and I remember, during COVID, when we could go back into the office, and there were no other people in the office. But I remember being there, and I was there till 4 a.m. because my workload is just so many cases. It wasn't a requirement that I stay till that time. And I had 2 young kids at home at the time. I remember when I drove in, I was like, oh, my gas light is on, but it's fine.
I'll make it.
It's fine. I'll just get gas on the way. Apparently in Florham Park, gas stations close at midnight.
Oh.
I grew up in a small town in the Hudson Valley. I've never lived in a place where gas stations were closed. They were always 24/7. So I actually ended up in Newark. I was very scared because it was potholes. My phone was about to die. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? So I didn't apply. I had a client, and Marsha Fries, she's our CEO. You would talk to her probably every week. And one day she's like, hey, Qing, do you want to grab lunch or dinner? Let's talk. So I did, and she spent half an hour telling me about her company, and I'm like, okay, that's great. Okay, it has nothing to do with our case, but all right. And then finally she said, I would like you to come work for me. So I was like, okay, that sounds wonderful. And I sat on it for probably 6 weeks, and she was like, hey, I'm serious about this opportunity. And I asked her, Marsha, have you spoken with the other executives, the rest of the team? Because at that point, Case Medical only had an outside general counsel. So how many people here, with your companies, you have an in-house attorney? And so, it's always an interesting transition, when you grow big enough where, you decide that you need a person in-house. So that's really, I decided this is probably a better fit for me. Having one client was better than having 42 because that's how many cases I had. And they were all heavy duty litigation. They were all in like the same discovery phase where, we're about to take depositions. So I had, for my family, I decided to make the move. And what's the worst thing that will happen, right? I knew I had built those relationships where even to this day, I can still go back to, the firms that I was at previously because you maintain those relationships. So, all of our journeys to manufacturing is a different road, is a different path, but within manufacturing, there's so many different areas. You can be a machinist, you can be in HR, you can be in marketing, you can be in legal. So for folks that, we're always talking about workforce development, establishing that pipeline. You could be, in, having a third career in manufacturing. It's never too late.
That's right. And how I got involved with manufacturing was I was working as a chief staff to Senator Bob Gordon up in Bergen County, born and raised Bergenfield. And when I was connected with him, the manufacturing caucus was started through his office leadership at the time, Senate President Sweeney. He created it. So I was one of the staff people learning, and I said, oh, this is really cool. And I was like, my dad's a plumber. I can learn about manufacturing. I already know how to deal with like plumbing issues. So I felt like I could transition. I just was excited that it was something different. And then once I guess when the governor came in and became Governor Murphy, then he was like, well, I'm going to go down and become a commissioner. Do you want to come? I said, I don't want to go to Trenton. I want to get married, have a family. I want to stay up here. And then I met at the time John Kennedy, our CEO, and he says, well, have you ever thought of manufacturing? And I'm like, you want me to go weld something? I can do it. Let's go. He's like, no, I want you to advocate for us, because a lot of folks in the legislature are still learning about their district and the manufacturer in their district. And you know what? I want to see how we can really grow. And then I jumped in at NJMP, and I've been doing it for the last 5 years, which has been really fun because every day is different. Every day is interesting. And I do get to help solve problems in different ways because I'm learning every day about the manufacturers that I get to encounter and tour. And then I also get to find opportunities how we could help the state of New Jersey grow and continue a great economy, but also help manufacturers understand government. There's red tape. How can we deal with a process you're struggling with? Maybe you need a permit and you don't know how to do it. Maybe you just need to connect with your legislator because you're struggling with something, or something that was really huge. We became essential workers during COVID. Yeah. And we were able to convince and talk to the governor and his team and say, look, you need manufacturers. You've got to put stuff on the shelves. You need us there. So we were able to, through manufacturing, through helping the hospital association, we were able to convert quite a number of manufacturers. Were able to switch over and make things so the hospitals could have pieces they needed, ventilators, systems, masks. People needed material they couldn't get. So we were able to organize that. So that's examples of things. So I get to do that. That's really cool. So one thing that I wanted to mention and why this panel is so important to us is we launched an initiative last year, Women in Manufacturing, called Year of Women in Manufacturing. How do we bring more women into the industry so we can really tackle that statistic of 30%? So part of our efforts have been, we've been doing lunch. We've been also engaging women and learning about who the women are in these companies and learning about their roles. So something I'd like to kind of ask these ladies here is, as you've been going on your journey in manufacturing, how do you feel more women can become more attracted into the industry? You've already spoken a little bit about it, but what are some things that you think could attract women into our industry and show them that, no, this is an industry for women as well?
I mean, I think it's some of what was said before in terms of letting women know it's a supportive environment. There are so many different positions within manufacturing, from sales to marketing to, legal or being on the shop floor, programming. There's so many different positions. I mean, part of what we do at Zago is to support that younger generation when they come into our workforce. So supporting them to go to school, to get that degree. Education is really important. Being flexible with schedules. When somebody wants to work at home, has to be home, but also wants a career. So letting them know that they have a supportive environment, and that we're going to be there to help them be successful. Part of that is showing them, there are people in certain positions within the company that you can aspire to. We say it all the time. If you don't see it, you don't know you can be it. So, some of the, one of our employees, one of the younger girls that works on the factory floor, one of the first things she said to me when she started working was, I didn't think I could do a job like this. Like, it's all the guys are on the shop floor. How am I going to be out here? And I said, no, of course you can do it. And she started working, and she quickly moved from the position she was on the shop floor, which was inspection. Now she's receiving and inspecting all our raw material that comes in. And, I met with her a couple days ago, and she said, I'm so excited to come to work now. I feel like I have a purpose, like I have a mission, and I feel like, what I'm doing matters. So just seeing how engaged she is now, because of the support that we gave her and helping her move to a new position, just showing her that the possibility is there.
Thank you, Jack.
I always like to focus on the makers. That's such a coined phrase now, makers. But it really is where we are in I guess our society right now. Like, who here, and I just want to question so that people raise their hands. Who here makes something at home? Whether it's something that you need, you're like, oh, I'm going to make my own shampoo, I'm going to make my own this, or I'm going to make everybody is substituting. I want to make a candle. I think we're in the era of makers, and people are realizing that they want a little bit more control over those ingredients, about the things that they're going to put on their skin, or they're going to eat, or they're going to make, or they're going to do. So I think for us, we need to focus on those makers and educating them. And I always say, during the pandemic was a boom of the TikToker. I'm way too old for TikTok, but there are so many girls that came during TikTok, during a pandemic, and started businesses. They all had natural hair care businesses or natural candle business or something. They were making in their homes. And I think it's so important, and they're young. I mean, I think that demographic was 18 to 24 maybe with TikTok. But I mean, if we as manufacturers, and even larger than myself, can sort of embrace these girls and educate them that, hey, this is a valuable business that you're doing. One, you're creating something, you're a manufacturer. We have to mentor them and show them how they can get to a full-blown company. Because they're either gonna go two ways. They're either gonna go into manufacturing because they fall in love with it, or they're going to make a company that's big enough to bring to another manufacturer, and then that creates more business. So I think what I would like to see us focus on is younger girls, makers, and really just sort of educating them about the paths that they can go, and just giving them that self-esteem to say, where it took me so long to say, you are a manufacturer, and you're important, and you're helping out society, and let's keep this going.
So Jackie, you touched on this education. So the fact that all of you are in this room listening to us speak about women leaders in manufacturing, that in and of itself is one way to foster, right? Because I know I applaud NJMEP for having Year of the Women, now the second year. That's right. We have, these women manufacturer luncheons. I love them. Yeah. But it gets to a point where we have to expand out and speak to other people. There's a quote that I love, echo chambers don't produce new sounds. So, all of us in a room, we're like, yes, there's a problem. We need workforce development. There's a lack of laborers. People, we need more people on our production floors. So a huge key aspect is education. At Case Medical, we have co-op students. We have internships. We recruit from local community colleges and four-year schools just to give kids an opportunity to get their hands wet, right? To learn how machines work, to learn that there's an engineering aspect to it, to discover that manufacturing, again, is more well-rounded and it's such a powerful career path that, maybe you don't need a four-year degree, or along the way, you might, you can get a four-year degree and then get a master's.
Excellent. And that's something that we've been really focusing on more and more, but we're not there yet. I think we need to continue. And something that I've been learning as I've been walking through the conference is there's so many amazing women and entrepreneurs, and that is part of the journey of being a manufacturer too. Be creative, thinking of innovative ways to solve a problem that you see, and how you can be impactful in that way. Is there been any challenges or opportunities that you've seen in your career or in the life of a manufacturer that you want to bring to the audience today? It could be anything. It could be whatever. Dawn, I feel like you...
Well, look, I'm going to challenge Queen here today. I mean, I think because I didn't have the education, again, this was 23 years ago, I didn't know how to set up a manufacturing, space. The way I did things was very hard, but for me, it was, okay, well, I'm going to boil shea butter, so let me use a pot. Now there's equipment, there are correct ways to do it. So I think if we have that mentorship, and one-to-one mentorship and showing the girls, I think is great as well, but also mentoring smaller companies to help them become bigger companies, where you may even absorb these companies into a bigger manufacturer. But for me, just like I said, equipment and connections. It was very hard for me to get connections at that point 23 years ago to learn how to do things. When I would go to other manufacturers, they were very welcoming and wanting my business. But I was like, no, I want to do this myself. And then, and it wasn't that they weren't friendly, but that wasn't their lane. They were like, okay, well, figure it out. So I think for me, that was the biggest thing, figuring out how to actually do things so that I can scale. We got a large order to go into Marshalls, and they wanted, I don't know, maybe 2,000 to 3,000 pieces. And my whole family were like, oh my God, how do we do this by tomorrow, with little baby spoons and things like that. So the education part of it, I think, is really key in letting people know that it can be done, because you will feel like, I just want to give up.
Right, yeah. I think, as Dawn is saying, just knowing, like she said, she didn't have the resources, it didn't even know they existed, but having the awareness. I know NJMEP for us has been like a huge part of our growth. We use NJMEP for a lot of resources, from mentorship programs, apprenticeships. We have a couple of employees that we have currently that came from apprenticeship or mentorship program that NJMEP sponsored, or told us about or connected us with. Improving our processes in our manufacturing facility came from consultants that we were able to connect with because of NJMEP. So just having the awareness that programs are out there, that there are grants available, that there's money available, that there's programs that companies or small manufacturers can leverage to get, their manufacturing process to be where it needs to be, or to help their employees, get certifications, get education or training. All that stuff is available. It's just getting the word out and getting the awareness that it's out there and how to get there, who to call.
So because I want to make sure we're mindful of time, I have so many other questions, but I want to open up to the audience to ask some of the ladies here questions that you might be thinking, or you just don't know about manufacturing and you want some insight on. So we can kind of go around the room and anybody interested in asking, or I'll just dive into the next question. Go ahead. So,
We have a microphone.
Gonna work.
Hi, my name is Sarah Switlick. We have a factory in Trenton, New Jersey, and something right now I'm focused on is trying to educate the next generation on manufacturing and infiltrating the schools, which is challenging to get in the door. And I just didn't know if anybody had any experience, or not just on the trade schools. I'm curious about the entryway to that, but also focusing on the youths to convince them that manufacturing is incredibly safe and stable, and they're great jobs to have.
Yeah. Good. No, I was going to say we started at the high school level, just bringing them in for tours, manufacturing tours. We started that a few years ago. But just getting that contact person at the school to get on the phone, to agree. It takes some phone calls. But if you get the right person on the phone, and not only the person on the phone, but the parents also, is you have to get the parents also involved in knowing, okay, this is what we want to do with the kids. This is why it's important, that they see, opportunities that are in their back door, like in their neighborhood. There's companies right in their neighborhood that need people to come in, that need workers, but they don't even know that the companies exist. So we bring them in, give them factory tours, tell them about all the different careers that are available in manufacturing, not just, sales, marketing, legal, working on the shop floor, programming, engineering. There's so many different avenues, and helping them and letting them know that opportunities exist in terms of also education, like helping them go to college, helping them get that next degree. So starting at the high school level is definitely what we did and what worked for us.
And another way to go about it too is we went to Girl Scouts. And a friend of mine, she has a soaping business, and we were like, okay, how can we teach young girls about entrepreneurship and natural products? So we met with our local Girl Scouts, and they gave us all the points that the girls would need to learn to get a business entrepreneur badge. So we put together a program called Beauty That Cares, and the girls would come in groups, and they would have to start their own little business, and they made products and things like that. But however you have to structure it. We went back to Girl Scouts and they approved it. So then Beauty That Cares became a course that local Girl Scouts could take. And we've serviced over 1,000 girls in our area that have gone through the Beauty That Cares. So they get a business badge.
It's amazing.
How can we get a manufacturing badge?
That's a good one.
Yeah, but you know what? Girl Scouts are looking for programs. They are looking for something different that they don't always offer. So we went to them like, hey, well, we told them what we wanted to do, and then they found a badge for us. And they literally like, oh, this could be the entrepreneur badge. So if you go to them, it could be the same badge, but you can put the course together however you want to put it together.
I like the manufacturing badge.
Yeah, we should fight for that, Constantina.
I'm on it already. I really.
So yeah, I mean, same thing. At school we have school tours. I think one of the big points about legislator help, right? During World War II, when the men were drafted to fight, the government had to step up and recruit women. So I think the legislature could do a huge, huge push here in terms of the education system, starting in middle school, because generally by high school, they're taking the PSATs in sophomore year. They're already set on what 4-year school they want to go to because that's been ingrained in their brains. So we need to rewire our education system to really show that manufacturing, not everyone has to go to a 4-year school.
Right, and to the point, and I'm going to go next to this second question, I just want to answer a little bit. We have a program we just got launched. NJE, the EDA, is working with us. We were able to get funding through a partnership with NJBIA. We're calling it Makers and Creators, and we're going to be touring all 21 counties for the next 2 years and working with the high school level students to show we're actually pulling together a mobile truck unit and with equipment in there. Yeah, it's like to every school in every county, and they are funding it. It's like $250,000 to start. And we had to hold them and say, look, you want people in these industries, well, we need to see some money on the table, folks. Let's go. But the whole point is it's a pilot program. That's one example of what we've been doing at NGMEP. And I want to connect you with Larry Banks because he's our Director of Workforce Development. And we've been in some of the Trenton schools already, working with them on some of it. Isles has been working with us too to help folks. So there's no reason why we should be connecting afterwards so I can make sure I connect you to the right team members. They get you in the door, like, let's go, right? That's how I feel. And that's kind of, we were a facilitator of that. And then from there, we can plug you in and then they learn, oh, wow, this person's someone local. And then it's a community effort that's being done. So let's go to the next question over here. Oh, we want to hear you, girl.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Nicole Graham McCatherine. I'm the Vice Governor of the National Association of Negro Business and Professional Women's Clubs. And Dawn, I know you know me from back in the early 2000s. Wanda Payne, yes. Senator Payne's daughter.
Yes.
She did come to Harlem, New York, and she was young in her business. And it's just full circle, right? Mm. And things that you're doing, we can reconnect, right?
Most
but,
definitely.
We are, I think we are challenged. We have some senior members who, they like to do their social programs, but I'm more of the entrepreneurial spirit and some of my members want to see that. Mm. It's like, how do you bring this connection into like what you're doing, manufacturing? I see the workforce development. I'm trying to like bridge the gap, but I'm like at a standstill. How do you reimagine an organization that's over 80 years old, and the members of that's the age of the number of the members, right? So I'm challenged, but I'm willing to partner and make sure my clubs in this New Jersey area. I am from New York, Bronx, New York, right? So, but we're here to partner. We could do hybrid, virtual, whatever.
Using MEP in New York. There's like 4 of them.
We will keep in communication, but I would say we are a vast group. We have very skilled women, professional executives. But like I said, we need support. We need to be networking. We need to partner. And I'm trying to tell my leader, what's the next step? We had this opportunity last year. We should be a sponsor. How do I change that? And then you know what she tells me? She said, oh, well, you'll be the next leader. I said, I don't know. You have to feel that. I have to feel that next step in moving bridging the gap. And Dawn, we have entrepreneurs there, and she did work with our youth, and they enjoyed that session. They enjoyed developing their own beauty product. And so connections will happen, and I'm grateful to be here, and thank you. But like I said, if you would like to connect with our organization or building on programs in this industry, this would be a wealth of opportunity for us because I think that's where we need to go. We need to gain them where they're at in high school and develop that career skill. Because I work in labor compliance in New York City. So I go to construction sites as a woman. Yes, I look nice today, but I look very like them. And I do contract compliance. So I have to always enforce, you have to follow. So I am, I'm always open to new opportunities.
That's great. And we want to sit with you, and we should meet. We should definitely meet. I think I saw somebody over here first if we're there in the purple. Oh,
Hi, everyone. My name is Amy Makoff. I applaud all the focus on education to attract people to the industry. I'm curious what is working well in terms of developing leaders once they come into the manufacturing organizations. So what's working well, and what are some of the challenges in the area of developing leaders once they enter the field?
who wants to start that?
So I know we touched on mentorship. There's a mentor is someone that's going to help you, educate you, show you the ropes. But what I find to be, to bring folks up to the next level, you need sponsors. So who here knows what a difference between a mentor and a sponsor is?
I just learned it today.
So a sponsor is someone, again, you don't have to speak with them every day, they could maybe a few conversations, but they're a stakeholder who can, open that door for you, who can pull you up with them to, the next level of your career. So, yesterday I was on a panel on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and one of the panelists said, "Hey, look, if you don't have a sponsor, just ask someone. We are all capable women, right? We're here today because we've done the work. We deserve the place. Now we have to feel comfortable enough to say, hey, when is it my turn? If not today, is it tomorrow? If it's not tomorrow, then why am I here?" So I think, you have to know your worth and then aim for it.
I think showing, we talk a lot about, empathy and support, and I've learned a lot of just listening to our employees. A lot of them, especially this younger generation that's coming in, they're coming in with so many responsibilities at a young age, family responsibilities, taking care of older family members, taking care of younger family members, holding two jobs sometimes, and anywhere else at a different company, they might get fired because they're not coming in on time, or they're missing too many days, or, whatever that might be. We're learning that, spending the time and putting the time to support that individual through all that, and just talking them through it, and giving them that support and when they need it, you're creating, loyalty. You're creating an employee who, will go to, our employees will go to battle for us, because we treat them as family. We take care of them when they need to be taken care of. So we never have to ask, are you going to help us with this? It's like, they're like, okay, what do you need? How can we help? So it just creates a sense of loyalty within the organization that you wouldn't get if you didn't have that support.
Thought.
Okay, all right, we'll join in there. For me, I'm still trying to convince myself that I am the leader at my business. So I think in small entrepreneurial ventures, sometimes it's more about showing people the vision, sharing the story, getting people excited. And this is something also, since you asked that question about how to change the organization, it's getting people excited and showing them a vision. It's speaking. So what I do is I do things like this, to go on panels and to just share my experience and my story. And sometimes people can really connect to that, and then that helps them to jump over to the next, okay, well, what can we do to get there? Sometimes we might start a little too high, like we need to rechange this and do this, and you get in here and you get, sometimes it's just like, oh my gosh, I got sick and I created products and this is what happened, and it's great. It's not all great, but I tell them it's great. But I mean, just to share the vision with people sometimes excites them enough to say, hey, this is something that I want to do, or we can make some changes to get there.
Something that I've done with the Year of Women in Manufacturing initiative is I look for partners that do, because of my political background and my experience with professional organizations like the YWCA, the Executive Women of New Jersey, which I'm a member of, and I have a mentor who sponsored me to be part of that. I tried to partner with them, and then we put in our training. So if, for example, depending on the level of that person, if they're in C-suite, then we should be thinking about how do we connect them to other C-suite women who are running their company and could be a partner with that person or connect with them. For women who are building up to be a supervisor, or maybe they're in a supervisor role, but they need a couple of certifications. One thing that I did last year and this year was I had gotten support to do a scholarship, and some of the funding, they did the coursework because they were covered by a grant, but they needed to pass the test, and the test was their responsibility to pay for. So we did the scholarship and $500 for 6 women, and we got 6 women to be able to get that money, and then they were able to go and do the test because they finished the coursework. That manufacturer, Gemco, was like, thank you. We weren't able to cover everything, but we covered some of that. And many manufacturers, they will support their employees and cover to help them get to the next level. And then also, I think it's about creating energy and this type of initiative to show we need to make more room for women in the industry to think of themselves as, no, I want to get into C-suite. Well, how do we do that? Well, we got to connect to other folks. So building that community is something that I'm facilitating, and because of my own background in politics and just kind of the community work that I've done. But that hasn't been happening. Well, it has been happening, but I think really building momentum now within manufacturing, because a lot of manufacturers are focused on, we got to get this product out. We got to get this thing done. And I think a lot of them are starting to say, hey, I got to really make sure my employees are being fed mentally as well as their own success growing, because it's going to help my company be super successful. Somebody else here? Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I'm Monica Dem of MD Inc. First, I want to say thank you all for all of your advice and all the women here for participating in it. It's been a glorious day. I come at it from a marketing standpoint, so I work with a lot of STEM companies. And the marketing that we do isn't just for the final consumer of a beauty product or a medical device. It's also for the ability of attracting future clients, future owners, if they're looking for investors, all of that. So how do you find what you're doing, being that you're from all different kinds of backgrounds, where what you're doing is marketing your company for future employees as well as future customers?
Who wants to go first?
I'll take a stab at that.
Oh, no, I was going to ask her to rephrase the question because I'm not clear on the question. Can you just, yeah.
So how are you marketing your companies for both the future employee that you're trying to attract as well as your future client that will buy your product or your widget?
I think for me, it's about creating community. And community based on not so much specifically the product, but just like-minded individuals. I started the company because I had gotten sick. I have an autoimmune. I try to live a healthier lifestyle. So I actually went to Facebook and I started a Facebook group. And I was having a bad MS day. And I was like, you know what? There have to be other people that are feeling this way. So I grabbed 20 of my friends. It's like, let's put together this group. We'll call it the Best Life Tribe. It was not based on my business, but it was based on my values, the things that I feel. So that's a part of my business. I called it the Best Life Tribe. I went in there and I just talked about health and wellness and, oh, you can make this and, drink a little extra smoothie, drink water. And it became such a community. It went from 20 women to 6,000 women. And we talk about health and wellness, but that has also become a pull for my business because since I created the community, they're listening to the other things that I say. Like during the pandemic, when we shut everything down, I went into that community and I was like, all right, well, we're closed. So I'm just going to serve in this community and talk about health and wellness. And I love sea moss. I'm a big fan of sea moss. It's very good for you. So I just put in there like, hey guys, during this time, bolster up your immune system, maybe have some sea moss. And they were like, well, do you sell that at Puka? And I'm like, no, but send me an email if you want to. I'll make you a little kit. I got 66 emails that night. So I realized, I was like, okay, Puka's open, one tomorrow, and we sell sea moss now. But creating that community on like-minded values and vision, it's a pull for me. When I'm looking to, when I need part-time help, when I need something for kids, I go into that community because I know it's like-minded. I've created it. They understand what I stand for. I've gotten part-time work in that community. I've gotten customers in that community. I'll ask them to come hear me speak. So building a community around your values, around your business, can be a really strong marketing tool.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, just to touch on what Dawn was saying, we when we were manufacturing, we were stuck in our bubble. We didn't really do a lot of events, and it wasn't until we brought on our marketing director, Kim, who's here with us today, that explained to us, no, you have to tell your story. You have to talk about what you're doing, not just making the product, but you have to get the story out there. So for us, whenever we're doing any kind of communication, apart from making the product, is who we are, what we're doing for our community, as Dawn was saying. So we do a lot of marketing just in terms of who we are as people, as a company, as a team. And when you do that, you do attract not only a customer, but you're attracting people that want to come to work for us. They see what we're doing. They see what we're doing for our employees, how we're helping them, how we're doing work in the community. So all of that, brings that the customer, but also the employee who wants to be a part of that team.
Right. There's culture, and you have to be authentic. So in terms of just echoing what the both of you said, we have a weekly blog where the issues like water quality, sustainability, these are things that impact every single person. Climate change, it's real. So we write about it, we educate, and we have sustainability initiatives. When we do tours, we advertise on our social media, say, hey, this is what we're doing. We're going out there. There's opportunities. So with that, without outright saying, here is a job ad, we're saying, hey, we just did a tour for Bergen Community College. We have multiple opportunities, and if you're interested in partnering with us, let us know. So there's ways to market without direct marketing.
Something that we do here at NJMEP is what I was mentioning before. We created this because we were realizing people didn't know much about anything with manufacturing. So this industry board has been around for about 10 years. But it was like, before, it wasn't this fancy. Before, it was like 2-3 pages. We went and we built it. And then we have all the data and the statistics. And then our marketing team, which we've expanded, created a Manufacturing Matters magazine, as well as it's all online. It's on our website, www.njmep.org. And we have all these stories. We have a Made in New Jersey initiative that we were able to get the legislature to pass, kind of this Made in New Jersey theme with the state, so people could see that there are manufacturers all across the state that are doing amazing things. And we talk about their story. We interview them. We put them on panels like this. I see myself as an employee at NJMEP, but I'm also facilitating, and I also am a platform within itself. So I need to speak up to their stories. So I need to learn so I could be able to put them in front. Because I'm a connector. I've been doing that for years. And I want to make sure that I'm pushing the industry forward by showing how amazing the people that I'm meeting through in the industry. So that's something as an example here that we've done. And we've gone a long way. I think even the 5 years I've been at NJEP, I think we've really evolved. And this women's initiative, even though it's still very fresh and new, it really has built a lot of momentum. And we're just very excited to continue it. And I want it to grow organically. I don't have all the ideas. I don't have all the answers. But I know if I pull everybody together in a room, we can get it done. And that's how I am. I'm like, let's do it. Anybody else? Oh, I think we're getting the wrap up, like, get off the stage. Well, I want to thank everybody here today. Please give a round of applause for always amazing meeting on the channel yourselves, but thank you all day. Dawn Fitch, CEO of Puka Pure and Simple. Qing H, she's the general counsel at Case Medical, and Jackie Luciano, Vice President of Zago Manufacturing. Thank you for attending. Again, my name is Constantina Meis at NJMEP. I look forward to continuing networking with you. If you have any questions, but we don't have an answer for you, we'll certainly get you an answer or connect you to somebody who can. And again, thank you to Zago Manufacturing for sponsoring this. This has just been a great day, and I'm so happy that I got to meet many of you today. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.